Russia continues to publicly insist that it has never attacked anyone. Peskov.
Россия на протяжении всей своей истории никогда ни на кого не нападала.
The Russian authorities avoid the word war. They come up with various veiled formulations for their own aggression. Lavrov.
Мы не вторгались в Украину. Мы объявили специальную военную операцию.
To avoid calling the war a war, the Russians are using the tools of hybrid warfare. Let's take a look at the main ones. First tool, Trojan horse. For example, the Russian Black Sea Fleet remained in Ukraine's Crimea for decades under a lease agreement between the two countries. As history has shown, Russian military bases in Ukraine have become a springboard for attacking Ukraine from within. From these bases, people in unmarked military uniforms entered the territory of Ukraine. They surrounded local governments and then controlled the illegal referendum. This is how the Crimea was occupied. Second tool, provocateur aka peacemaker. Manipulating linguistic, territorial or religious contradictions, Russia provokes conflict on another country's territory. The next step is for Russia to choose a side in this conflict and send troops, ostensibly to end it. In this scenario, Russia publicly declares its alleged peacekeeping intentions. Instead, its soldiers fight on a particular side of the conflict. For example, since the beginning of the conflict in eastern part of Ukraine, Russia has not officially recognized its involvement in hostilities on Ukrainian territory. However, on January 25, 2023, the European Court of Human Rights ruled that the occupied territories in eastern Ukraine had been under the de facto jurisdiction of the Russian Federation since May 11, 2014. Of course, there have been situations in which Russia has used the combination of these hybrid tools to move towards open, full-scale invasion. Russia's first unleashed war was a full-scale hybrid war against Georgia in 2008. Georgia declared its independence in early 1991, when the Soviet Union began to disintegrate. Since independence, there has been an ongoing internal dispute over the status of the regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia within Georgia's generally recognized borders. Although these territories were recognized by the world as part of Georgia, Russia continued to stir up separatist sentiment in these areas. In 2002, the Russian government began actively issuing Russian passports to people in Abkhazia and South Ossetia without Georgian consent. By 2008, most South Ossetians had received Russian passports. Moreover, Russia provided two-thirds of South Ossetia's annual budget until 2008, according to Reuters. And then, suddenly in 2008, the shelling of Georgian territory began from the territory of South Ossetia. On August 1, 2008, Russian-backed South Ossetian forces began shelling Georgian villages. To put an end to this attack, Georgian regular army units were sent to the conflict zone in South Ossetia on the 7th of August. On the 8th of August, in response to Georgia's attempt to end the conflict provoked by Russia, Russia accused Georgia of aggression against South Ossetia and launched a full-scale invasion, calling it a peace enforcement operation. On the 11th of August, Russia launched an offensive on the town of Gori on the road to Tbilisi and captured the Georgian towns of Zugdidi and Sanaki in the west of the country. Marines from the Black Sea Fleet occupied Georgia's main port of Porty and destroyed all Georgian boats and ships with military markings. Russian troops also seized the central highway linking eastern and western Georgia. The front line was rapidly approaching the capital, Tbilisi. Georgia was forced to end its resistance. As a result of the 5-day war, it completely lost control of the territories of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. Russia, in turn, recognized their alleged independence. In November 2011, the European Parliament adopted a resolution recognizing Abkhazia and South Ossetia as occupied Georgian territories. Soon, Russia will follow a similar scenario in the Crimea and eastern Ukraine, eventually moving to a full-scale invasion of the sovereign Ukrainian state. Why repeat the thesis that Russia has never attacked, when in the last 30 years the world has witnessed several examples of open military aggression by the Kremlin? That is how propaganda works. If you keep repeating that black is white, eventually some people will start to believe it. Russia has never attacked anyone. We always only defend ourselves. We do not attack anyone. We do not kill. But whatever you call it, when you illegally cross the borders of another independent state, when you bombard peaceful cities with artillery and planes, that is an attack. And that is a war.